that's how Master P tried to do it. And even if your kids are in the same house with you, it's still a lot of difficulties you have to endure. And one of the things I realized, not about the Master P shit specifically, but one of the things I realized is having multiple kids, that's several different personalities you have to try to get an understanding of. And kids need attention, like individual attention. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Um, and again, this is your brother Harrison, Melanated Convo podcast. We're talking about Master P and Romeo, not directly, but just the father-son dynamic, the father-son relationship as kids get older, right? So I was talking to somebody the other day about the fact that there's a transition period that happens, right? There's a transition period that happens, and when it's a lot of kids in the house, you have to be cognizant of everything going on with each child, and kids need individual attention. I was talking to somebody and I told him, look, man, if you are a father, and this is money or no money, if you are a father and you got multiple children, everything can't be like in a group. You have to break that down and provide individual attention for each child. See, and this is something a lot of us, because I'm there with my black men who had kids early as a teenager and continue to have children, like something we don't factor in as black folks when it comes to parenting and creating a family. Like resources, the money you have, the time you have available, all of these things should be considered before having kids, because all too often I see people who have children and then you continue to have more. And what you don't notice is you have one kid, you're spending time with this one kid. This child is used to it being just them. Another kid comes, their time gets cut a little bit. Another kid comes, their time gets cut a little bit more. And as parents, sometimes we don't even realize we're doing this shit. So, yeah, I think sometimes we strive to have a full family. Like I want a boy and a girl, 2 boys, 2 girls. Do you have the cognizant capability to pay attention to all these children? Are you doing your best to single out time for each child? Because see, when we look at like children going out into the world and feeling neglected, like not having social skills. Some of our young children go to elementary school and they got to deal with all this ADHD shit where teachers and administrators try to put on them the fact that they need medicine because they can't sit still or because they're moving around too much, because they talking too much, all these different things, when a lot of times this is just I'm not getting attention at home deficit. See? Sometimes we need to focus on the fact that, yeah, I may love my kid, but what the fuck love got to do with it? Kids need individual time and attention. You see, and again, this is not about the Master P Romeo thing per se. This is just in general. Like having a lot of kids, creating a large family, that's a lot of work. It's not just, even because we see in their situation, money is a thing, but that's not going to garner mental stability. That's not going to garner happiness to a degree. It will garner comfortability, right? You ain't got to worry about bills. You ain't got to worry about paying for that, paying for this. That provides a level of comfort, but kids need a level of empathy too. They need to know somebody's listening to me. You see what I'm saying? And money doesn't affect that. And then another thing, all my fathers out there, listen to me, because this is real shit. This is something I had to deal with. If you got a young man, 21 and up, if you have a disagreement with him, that's still your baby. Like that's still your child. He may be lashing out because of something that didn't happen that he liked. His feelings could be hurt. Like when it's 2 men having a conversation, when you the father, that's the son, whatever the case may be, sometimes you forget that this is just a young person. This is just a young person who I raised. Like this is a man, but this is my baby first. This is a man, but this is the young man I raised first. See? And men get hurt feelings. We go through shit where we lash out based on not feeling loved or not getting the attention we want. We're just not women, so we're gonna do it a little bit differently. But men, pay attention to your young men. Fathers, I mean, pay attention to your young men. If you got a young man that's over 21 and you guys have some words with each other, like some negative pleasantries or exchange. You know what I mean? That shit happens, but you have to do two things. First, again, you have to realize this is still my baby. This is still the young man Pampers I used to change that need my love and need my attention. And then as you realize as he a man, you got to back up and look at the validity of what he's saying. Sometimes as parents, we use this revisionist history shit where we may be on a better path now, right? Today we're doing better, working, business, whatever that may mean to you. But 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when your kid was 6, 7, 8, you wasn't shit. You wasn't there like you needed to be. You could have been on drugs. You could have been working all the time. You could have been unemployed. You could have been immature. You could have been all these things. But do you think a child forgets? See, as parents, sometimes look, Black parents, quit using revisionist history. The past does not change. You can change what you do going forward, but children do not forget. And I think sometimes we as parents do bullshit around kids and expect them to forget, expect that they wasn't listening or paying attention. Look, you can say whatever you want to say to a kid. They're really listening to your actions. I repeat, your child is listening and watching your actions. You can say whatever you want to say to them, but if that doesn't align with what you do, excuse me, there are going to be some disparities there. You see what I'm saying? So again, sometimes we spend our youth in times of our life where we're not as mature as we should be. We have these moments and we act out or we do something immature. We do something that's not beneficial to the family at whole. And if the kids are around, if you like me and you had kids when you were young or when you were immature or anything like that, kids are around watching. So once they become older and have the ability to articulate their disdain for whatever they seen you do, you got to be able to eat that. You see what I'm saying? You got to be able to eat that. And with Master P and Romeo, what I'm seeing more than anything, is a young man that's hurt. A young man that's been hurt by his father, and it just so happens they're in the public eye. It just so happens they're public figures and they can express their dismay for each other in front of all of us. But at the end of the day, for 2023, something I'm going to continue to do better at, like that's none of our business. But having a conversation about the need for a particular type of parenting, having a conversation about like communicating with your kid the right way, communicating with your father, your mother the right way, your kids. All this is important because this happens to everybody. This ain't just a Master P Romeo thing. I see a lot of fathers who go through a transition period when their kid becomes an adult or a young man, and